What's up, everybody? Mike Stadler here.
Carl Bethke with you.
The Obsession Podcast. Back at you.
New deer,
New year.
That's right, baby.
It's a new tagline,
We gotta make a shirt.
and I know you love it.
That's who wouldn't.
I mean, it's a given.
That's a given. That's a given.
So I had one. This was actually just this morning.
This morning. Alrighty then.
Had one of our listeners talking to me. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah.
He's asking me about frost seeding, when and what to use, and it is March 4 today.
Correct.
Frost seeding.
Frost seeding time.
Frost seeding time. So
If you can.
if you can.
There's rules.
Yeah, so here's the one thing I'll touch off with this, and then I'll go to you, Carl.
All right.
With the frost seeding is, I've heard people doing it, and there's snow on the ground. I'm going to tell you this. There cannot be snow on the ground. Now, snow coming, and the ground's bare, awesome. I mean, you can't get any better than that, then.
No, that's good.
You know, because then you're getting that layer of snow on top of that fresh seed.
Yeah.
And the snow, like, is going to go through this for you.
Yeah.
When it melts, it goes down.
Oh, and then.
The seed is under it,
Yeah.
and then
Again.
pushes it into the soil.
Whoa.
So, like, that's optimal. Like, so I'll just say first thing, you know, and it is March 4, so it is time to start thinking about that 100%. No snow on the ground. You want bare ground.
100%. Yeah. Well, Mike covered it. Thanks for listening.
Next.
This time of year, obviously, you know, right now here in southern Wisconsin, we don't have any snow. So it would be a good time to start your frost seeding.
Yep.
You know, you can wait till the middle of the month or whatever, but then we could get more snow. So then you have to wait till later.
Yeah.
So putting it on the soil right now, especially if you're, let's just say you have an old brassica plot. You want it to be clover this year.
Yeah.
Good time to frost seed clover in.
That's normally what we're frost seeding in. If we're frost seeding, it's clover.
I have done last year I did switchgrass frost seeding, but there's a lot involved when you get into that, when we're talking about switchgrass, because now chemicals are involved and a bunch of other stuff, and we'll talk about that when the time comes. But if you're talking about for food plots, this time of year, the only thing you're putting in is clovers.
Clover, yeah.
Yep. And don't be afraid to do it right now. It works out well. Some of my best kill plots are just clover plots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're down at the Triple B, the Shocker plot. This year will be clover. Last year it was brassica, but 2 years before that it was clover.
Mm-hmm.
Very successful right there. Mom's plot in the bottom, that's clover. The plot just up above that with the water hole, that's clover. This year we're going to add some other stuff in there too and switch a couple things up. But frost seeding clover right now would be great. If you had a brassica plot you wanted to turn into clover, you just go in there, you overseed with the clover. You don't have to turn dirt, scrape dirt, none of it. It should be down to the dirt if your brassica's got eaten by your deer. If there's a bunch of foliage on the ground, you can't frost seed. Don't frost seed. If you've got a grassy area,
Bare ground.
yeah. If you've got a grassy area, you want to turn that into a plot, guess what? You have to kill it first.
Yeah.
And, you know, establishing clover in early spring, late spring, and even early summer is easy, you guys. Don't get too carried away. If you think it's going to be more successful, if the ground is not prepped, if it's not bare soil, like Mike said,
Yeah. Don't do it.
don't do it, because you're spending way too much money to have a stand of clover that's probably not going to be worth a crap. It's going to have a bunch of probably broadleaf grasses in it, which can be taken care of with chemical that won't hurt the clover, but most of the broadleaf stuff ends up killing clover, just so you guys remember that.
Like if you're watching what we did on our small property layouts, where we were just talking about, you know, my campsite plot that we opened up.
Mm-hmm.
That plot right now would be ideal if you're gonna do a frost seed of clover, which we're not putting clover in that this year. But that's all bare ground right now.
Yeah.
You know, it was bare. We worked it up in January, December, January. So that's ready to go, something like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, one good thing, if it's something you think you want to do in a plot, prep it at the end of, you know, your hunting season this coming year, you know, when you're done and you're not going back in.
Yeah.
Then it's ready for that.
Yeah, if you're going to establish a plot on small properties, You can, let's just say you take your buck in October. Well, go in there and prep your plot area for next year. If you decide you want to put a small plot in somewhere,
October.
Prep that for,
Yeah, buddy. So I'm talking about.
October was a good month. The end of October was rough with the weather.
Yeah, who don't love October?
We got her done. But yeah, back to the frost seeding part of things. Yeah, right now is a good time to frost seed. If you've got bare soil, you can get the frost or get the seed down on. That's number one.
Yeah, I mean, March is about the earliest I would say you're probably going to want to do it.
Yeah.
March, April, May, I mean, really any of those you can do that.
Yeah.
Because it's, we're still going to have weather through this month of March, next month, April, May, probably not so much.
The advantage of frost seeding or switchgrass right now is you get the stratification process.
Right.
So stratification process, if you don't know, is the temperature going below freezing and then unfreezing, freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw. And switchgrass seed is extremely expensive. Just so the guys know, I just bought $1,000 worth of switchgrass seed for what we're going to do on my property this year. And what I'm going to end up doing there, because part of it is going to be ready, but Mike and I have to go down and mow the corn stalks, which we'll talk about tomorrow because we're heading to my place there. I'm going to put the seed in the freezer for a week, and then I'm going to pull it out of the freezer for a week. And I'm going to put it in the freezer for a week, and I'm going to pull it out the freezer for a week. Meanwhile, down on the property where I'm going to do this, we're going to mow the stalks down, and then I'm going to apply simazine, which stays in the soil. So we can get into all of that if you guys want. We'll talk about frost seeding, switchgrass, and doing all of that. Mike and I will probably end up drilling mine because we've got a drill.
Correct.
Thanks to Mike.
We're drilling it.
Yeah.
No more effing around.
No more effing around. Frost seeding does work well, though. I'll show you guys last year's switchgrass. We'll film that. And so you guys can see what a year's worth of switchgrass actually looks like. Came up really well, held pretty good. Ended up being about 3 feet tall, which for first year stand on frost seeding is pretty dang good. This year we're hoping for 3.5 or 4 feet on the new stuff we're putting in, where I was just talking about. But that can be done either by frost seeding, like I told you guys now, or holding off until early spring, and then you have to go through a chemical process, which we can talk about. But clovers, I wouldn't hesitate to put them in right now if you had an opportunity. If you're in southern Wisconsin, middle of the state, north, or anywhere close to that throughout the United States, say Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota area. Minnesota, you probably want to hold off for a few weeks. This is all right this time of year. The reason I say that is we can get some pretty heavy rains, which we've gotten recently, and will wash your seed off the frozen ground too. Yeah. So you kind of got to watch out for that. If we didn't get snow, if you're going to get snow and you got soil exposed, like Mike said, go ahead and do it.
Perfect. Correct. I agree with that.
That'll work it in. But that pretty much covers frost seeding. It's a fairly simple process.
It is. Yeah, we frost seeded here last year too. Yeah. And the campsite plot was smaller.
Yeah.
I did get good clover.
Yeah.
The problem was they ate it down to nothing. Till it was nothing.
Are you saying you had too many deer?
I had way too many deer.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have that at times too, so you got to watch that. But yep. I mean, I don't know. I would probably recommend frost seeding more towards the end of March, beginning of April, than I would say go ahead here at the beginning of March and do it. If you have the opportunity and you think that the soil's going to be fairly soft. If it's rock hard, don't put the seed down. I can tell you guys that.
It should be a little mushy on the top.
Correct.
Yep. Watch that weather too, just like we always say when you're planting anything else. If you got something coming behind you, it's even better. And you don't want a washer of a rain.
No.
Carl just said it'll just wash that seed right out of there, just like it'll do in the summer.
We did it here.
Yeah, and it wasn't any of our fault, but it washed our corn out.
Yeah, that's
that's in the ground.
Yeah.
So,
the other part about that you guys want to remember, when frost seeding, you'll have a fairly good germination rate, but it's not like drilling, just so you're aware. If you drill the smaller seed, like clovers and stuff, into the ground, you will have a better germination rate.
Yeah, 100%.
And it can save you a lot of money. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah, and we only are just coming into the drill thing this year, so don't think that we've had this this luxury forever. We've been broadcasting seed for years. So.
Yeah, I'd say we've been broadcasting seed for 20 years or better. So.
We're just sick of the time loss and the expense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's easier to have a failure. That's all I have to say about
yes,
it.
Yes, it is. So it is.
But I think that pretty much covers a frost season.
Yeah, I agree.
Right on. We appreciate you guys listening. If you want to listen just to the podcast, you can listen to it on Google, iHeart, Spotify.
RSS.
No, there's one more. Google, iHeart, Spotify. Come on, Mike. Apple Podcast.
You have an Apple phone.
I know. I should know that. Anyway, we appreciate you guys listening. If you get a chance, remember to subscribe here on YouTube. If you got any questions, remember to put the questions right down here in the comments. Get a hold of Mike or not. We appreciate you guys listening.
Thanks.
Acres. You're not happy with this. You can't be happy. That's all I'm going to say. But